Hello friend, how is it going? Welcome back to Diesel Mercedes YouTube channel. And in today's video I will be taking apart, dissecting, trying to repair Mercedes-Benz S550. It's out of 2008 S550 electric parking brake actuator or assembly, whatever we will call it. Interesting detail, these cables have their own numbers from Mercedes-Benz. You can see it here. So I guess purely theoretically, unless something changed, it can be ordered separately. So you see this is the driver side release. This is the passenger side, it's the longer cable. And this is the safety release cable, which goes all the way next to the gasoline filler neck. So this is the one side. Let's flip it around. I discovered there is a coat on it. So this part was made in December 2007. So it's original. That vehicle which is outside has a 200,000 miles on the odometer. To remove those screws, it's a Torx T20. Looking at it here, it's made by Küster, German, obviously. There is a Mercedes-Benz logo and the number is A2214302249. Now I don't know if they glue it together or there is a seal, but I'm carefully prying on it and so far it doesn't want to open. Wow. I see the seal here. Let's put it this way so you can see it. I would love not break it, just carefully undo it. On the other hand, I can always create my own gasket later if this is usable. Of course, when I set it, it finally gave up immediately. So there was no need to pause the video. So look, this is the cover. And here is the unit itself. So this cable, now I'm pulling, this is the driver. This is the tension meter right here, and that was reading correctly actually. And it's disconnected, but this is free because I pulled on that tension release. And look, this is the side which goes towards to the did you just see that? Now both of the sides are connected. When I push on these cables right here, right, so this is the driver side. When I push it all the way in, now I can go on the other side on the passenger and push on the end of the cable. So this unit, it was not flooded, it's not destroyed by any possible moisture inside. They did absolutely outstanding job to protecting it from the moisture. This is unbelievable. And it's still full of grease. It's fantastic shape. Now they are locked here. And if I will pull that release, they will actually separate again. I believe it works perfectly. If I pull on it, and now I will pull on the cable. You see that? It disconnected from each other. They became free. I see down there inside the parts, and they seem to be working good. If I put it all the way in, maybe I will help it. and now they are locked and both sides are connected again. I will try to show you more of the detail. So this is the electric connector. You can see how many pins. Here is that entire board. The motor is from Johnson. Here is another logo on the transmission kister. Can hopefully see it. This is the entry for the release cable right there. This is the passenger. This is the driver. Here is the code for that tension meter, which basically is supposed to measure the tension, and when it reaches certain tension on the brake shoes, the whole mechanism, it should stop the motor from destroying this transmission. I did set up my mad professor testing lab here, and I was already able, using the battery and touching the contacts on the motor, confirm the motor works, the gearing works, and when we open it, the cables were fully pulled in. This whole unit was fully closed. I was able basically to fully open it. It's working, and I will just show you how it moves. I traded space with you so you can better see that whole mechanism. This is a minus. So if I put it there and I will carefully touch this, it should be pulling inside. Look at it. Did you see that? So this is the way the cables are pulling in, and you are applying the power, or you are engaging the parking brake. I don't want to go too far to start crunching that entire gear set, the transmission, and destroy it. Huh? You heard that? That was the end. If I now will go the other way, I will be able to open it. So now we saw there's nothing seized, everything keeps moving there and back. Let's see what will happen when I will hook it back to the vehicle. When I erase the code, you can go active test. I will operate the parking brake. It says it's released in minus 200 newtons. F3 will be operate parking brake, and F4 release it. So it's fully released, we saw it, so I will operate it. It does work, but now I think when I fail is the release. So the operating is active. And now let's go F4. And it only beeps once, crook, instead of going all the way. And it's where it stops. And it will not continue. Yep. Preconditions for the system test were not met. Check preconditions and repeat system test. Escape. I wonder if it's because the brakes are actually not pulling on these cables, pulling them more open. So I next covered the unit, sealed it with a gasket maker, and installed it all back in the fully stretched position. I made sure fully open. The cables were all the way out. When it was installed, I took the scanner and did the function which is after replacing the brake pads, and they call it brake pads, but it's for brake shoes. So I pushed that, and it was obvious that the motor pulled the cables in until it stopped. It made that noise of the moving. I tried to look on every single option, initialization and so on. So basically I went through all of that and then got out of the program, disconnected the scanner, and I tried to operate the parking brake. At that time I had it still on the lift, so I hopped in and I manually tried to engage the brake while pushing on this button. Did you hear that? I hope it was audible here in the cabin. The windows are slightly cracked open. It perfectly went ahead. The motor pulled on the cables, and finally, and first time ever, I don't have a malfunction, and the red symbol for the park is displayed. And if you read that owner's manual, that's one of the ways to engage that parking brake. It will happen automatically through certain conditions on the vehicle, or you can do it manually. Now, I'm not on the lift because that was last week, and I paused with continuing this video. I couldn't believe it, it's working. Because when I went outside, I grabbed the rotors, it was still without the wheels, and I couldn't move them. Then I went back in here, and I pulled that button, and it completely released. It's amazing. So I'm like, okay, now it works, this is fantastic. I will keep the vehicle over the weekend, keep driving it, and only if it worked, I will share it with you guys. Now, if you want to release it, if you again read the manual, you operate this vehicle correctly. The ignition has to be on. It will not release with ignition off. So if I put it on, or I can start it up, let's see. The symbol, the red symbol, is still there. And now I either can use this button and I will pull on it, or the other condition is if you put in the reverse, it will automatically disengage, and hopefully we will hear it. So I will put this off. We have absolutely quiet. I will roll this window more so you guys can hear the noise of that release. What shall I do? I stepped on the brake and I will go in reverse. And look at it. It actually, guys, released, and the vehicle is able freely, and it's obvious I'm not touching throttle or anything, it's freely moving. I can go right now in the park, and if I want to engage that parking brake, I will push on it. And again, watch here, and you see all of it, maybe, so you trust me that actually it's working. I heard that motor in the back, it made ooh, and it is engaged and it will not move. This is incredible. All it needed, some lubrication, but most likely it needed that reset with that computer. I can't believe the electric parking brake, which was made in December 2007, it's original to this vehicle. It's so old and has 200,000 miles on the odometer, that it's still working. being underneath the vehicle entire time and exposed to the elements, to the water, dust and everything. That's incredible. Now I have it running and I will show that it also works the other way. So I released it using this button. So let's put it on using that button. I'll be quiet. I hope you heard it. It was absolutely clear. I heard it outside. And let's use the button again to release it. Can you see both the light and the button? Look at it. It totally worked. I can put in the drive and go forward. It immediately moves. I don't want to hit the towers, but it totally works. It's absolutely incredible. And it's shocking success. And as I said, it happened already last week on Friday. I just wanted to make sure it wasn't fluke and it will break in 2 days. So I driven it over the weekend. Today's Tuesday, and every single time so far I used it, it works. The problem was definitely in that way where it was. I guess it was confused where it is, and when it was releasing, it never released enough. It was just that short, very short stroke, and then it threw the code, and I kept saying check the installation or adjustment, I believe the code was for. And now I'm using button or automatic functions. It perfectly works. I'm absolutely relieved and also in disbelief that the original part is still working correctly. It's a little miracle in my opinion. And obviously she's old lady with a lot of miles, so she will need way more work. There are still a few things which has to be taken care of, so the videos are coming. And make sure you are subscribed, you have notification, you don't miss any of those. Thank you for watching. Have a great day, my friend.